It is brought to us by FanDuel. You can tackle NFL and NBA action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers can bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out all the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. The Cavs host the Bucks tonight. The Bucks are coming off their NBA Cup championship. They're playing their best basketball of the season. We thought this could be a playoff preview and a real legitimate regular season December game to get excited about, and then we saw the line, and we realized something was fishy. So we looked at the injury report, and Dame Lillard is out tonight with a right calf strain. He played awesome on Tuesday in the Cup championship. Giannis is listed as questionable with a right knee injury. Chris Middleton's listed as questionable with a non-COVID illness. So there's a chance we get Milwaukee versus Cleveland with no Dame, Giannis, and Middleton. We talked about the NBA issues earlier this week in terms of ratings, why they're down. One of the things we said was on a night-to-night basis, you just don't know who's going to play and who's not going to play. If Lillard, Giannis, and Middleton aren't in action, it's just a big bummer for what could have been an awesome game.
This is as part of the, there's been a lot of talk about what's going on with the NBA. The ratings are significantly down, and everybody talks about, the way the game is played, that, you got guys like Anthony Edwards who doesn't take the ball to the basket anymore, and fans want to see the great athleticism in these guys, and if they're always shooting threes, you miss that. But another part of the problem is that guys don't play. That doesn't happen. Like in football, your guys, if they're healthy, they play.
Well, there's 17 of them.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
Baseball, we're used to, even the great players are going to sit once in a while.
Right.
But baseball's not a sport that is, it's more about the team than the individual player in most cases. But in basketball, again, this may be revisionist history, but in the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, your stars played every game if they were healthy. Every game. And now they don't. And I understand the reasons they're doing it, but just like with baseball where they baby pitchers and we have more pitching injuries than ever, doesn't it seem like, again, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm misremembering.
No, boy, you're right. I have the numbers.
They baby the players as much as ever in the NBA. They sit, and yet we have more key injuries of great players in the NBA playoffs, it seems, than we ever had.
Well, I have the numbers. Give me 1 sec to find them. You are actually right.
It feels like
you guys go. I'll find the number. But more players have missed games this year already than ever before, and load management and rest.
It sucks. I want to see the Cavs play teams at their best.
Because I agree with you. I think it's two-pronged failure here. I think part of it is that.
Yeah.
And by the way, we had Cavs versus Bucks. I thought that game was here.
It is.
It is.
Oh, okay. Okay. It should be listed Bucks versus Cavs then.
Oh, well, ignore how we did that.
Okay,
It is.
Because it was actually going to change the way I approach this.
No, it is at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, 7:30, NBA TV.
Okay, that's what I thought. Cavs fans want to go to this game for one reason. They want to see us play one of the top teams in the conference.
That's right.
They want to see Giannis.
Yes.
And they want to see Dame. And they want to see Middleton. That just like when Cleveland goes to San Antonio, they want to see our stars.
That's right.
So I do think that now that's attendance driven because you're spending a lot of money. And you really, really get upset when you show up and you find out this is a rest night for their team. But I think it has more to do with this what the game has become.
Yeah, it's both.
Now I was going to ask you guys, okay, so attendance is down 25, ratings down 25%. What percentage of that do you think is the style of game that they're giving us, and what percent is the players are playing less than ever before? I would think it's more 75% of the decline has to do with the style of game that they're playing. I don't like watching it anymore. I'll be perfectly honest.
The Cavs are one of the few teams that are fun to watch because they move the ball at least.
They are. But when I watch other teams, like for instance, the game that they played the other night against Denver, when Denver shot very few three-pointers.
24 threes.
I thought, okay, that's what the NBA used to look like. And I know everything evolves and it's a different game, but to me, there's a clip going around. You've probably seen it. It's on, I don't know if it's on Twitter. I've seen it
before.
The
Lakers.
It's like, I can't imagine why ratings are down in the NBA. And it was like a 2 or 3 minute clip. And it was just each team running down the other floor and someone jacking up a three and missing. And the other team went down and jacked up a three and they missed. And this went on and on, back and forth. And I said, well, that's perfect. That's exactly what I think I'm watching when I watch the NBA. To me, this is a bad product. I hate to say it so bluntly, but the fundamentals are gone. Watching guys that used to charge the basket and have an inside presence, it's gone. It's become a shooting competition, and no one wants to watch that.
Isn't it interesting, G? Sorry.
It's very easy to fix. All you got to do is you say, listen, we're only counting your first 10 threes as threes. If you can hit them all the rest of the day, if you want to, they're only twos. And I guarantee you, after you hit your 10 threes and you got your points, no one's going to be pulling up from half court because it's only worth 2.
Right. It would be punitive.
It would be punitive. It would make no sense. You would have to say, well, this is a lower percentage shot for 2 points. I might want to get to the basket, or I might want to shoot this mid-range, or it changed the way you would do it. Or you could do it in this way. Hey, look, you only allowed a certain amount of threes per quarter.
I heard somebody else suggest you can only take 1 3-point attempt per possession. So if you miss, you can't shoot another 3 in that possession.
I like all these ideas.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll.
No,
happen,
they're not going to do any of that.
Bull, we always talk about the impact of analytics on sports.
Yeah.
We always tend to use baseball, which is very analytically driven.
Right.
Football has become very analytically driven. I'm not sure there's been a bigger change in professional sports since the advent and implementation of analytics than the 3-point shot and the effect that's had on the game. Because the math, when you do the mathematical equation, it is more, you have the better chance of success shooting 3s than 2s. That's just math.
Right. It's 3s and dunks. That's all they want.
And the math equation
which I get
that's
from the
happening
math,
is you're getting 150% of the points, but the likelihood that you miss that shot is only going down about 15%. So it's a mathematical equation. So teams just finally said, and the Celtics are a perfect example of that, we're going to shoot as many of them as we can because analytics tell us that's what we're supposed to do.
So I found this really interesting graph. It's from Pro Basketball Reference, and it goes the percentage and frequency of shots, rim shots, long mid-range shots, short mid-range shots, and 3% shots in their frequency, dating every year back to the year 2000 to this season.
That's fascinating.
And I'll send you guys the chart. It's too small to put in tag board, but this surprised me because it didn't actually register. But now that you can see it visually, I'm gonna send it to you in a sec. The amount of shots at the rim from pick a year, this year versus any year in the last 25 years.
Go all the way back. Go to 2000.
2000 for 2001 season. 29% of NBA shots were at the rim in the year 2000. This year it's 28.7%. So rim attempts and paint shots exactly the same.
Yeah.
The difference,
I think what we've washed out are the mid to long range jumpers.
They have gone down in the year 2000, 31%. It's down to 4.5%.
Yeah.
And the contrary's threes went from 17% or 16.8% in the year 2000 up to over 40%.
And that is a direct impact of analytics.
And short range, mid range, so like floaters right outside the rim, have not really changed. We have just eliminated long 2s with 3s. That's really the only change. And what's the worst shot in basketball, Jason?
Mid-range.
The long 2.
No, the worst shot is a 3-point shot with a foot on the line.
Yeah, but that's a long range. It goes down as a long range shot.
I don't know. I mean, listen, I don't know that the ratings being down really means basketball is less popular, as Mike points out. People watch it. Basketball, unlike baseball and football, have a much younger audience. They're watching things on their phones. It's social media clips.
But they have been for the last 10 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why a 25% jump?
Yeah.
That's not a statistical anomaly. That's something is going on.
Oh, the league is concerned about it.
Well, they better be.
I'm just not sure that the league's less popular. I just find it boring. I think, but I'm old.
I don't think the league's concerned about it. They got their money. No. I think the TV partners are concerned about it.
And that's why the league needs to be concerned about it.
But that will be an issue if
they just sign new deals. So eventually they will be. But
you're right.
Now.
So you can be baseball head in sand and say, no, we're good.
That's where they are right now.
Well, they better not be, because it caught up with baseball eventually, and it will catch up with them to the NBA. I read something earlier this week about how exactly what you just said. The ratings woes does not impact the NBA right now. That money's in the bank and it's being spent.
And it just is starting.
And it's just at the beginning, brand new deals. However, if you're the TNTs and the Amazons and all of these other entities that want to, because I think everybody would agree, and the teams will, the leagues will tell you that the more partners you have, the better it is. because it defers the payments. It spreads out the payments. You're still getting product, but you're not spending as much. When there's one partner, it's not good for the league or for the partner.
Right.
You want to have 5, like football now. You get games on
Diversify
Amazon.
the
You
portfolio.
get games on Netflix. The Christmas Day games are Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what you want. You want to be in business with the lot. However, when those deals come up, they're going to be set on ratings. And if ratings continue to be 25% of what they were, then their deals, when they come up, are going to be 25% of what they are now.
Now, baseball, unlike basketball, in my opinion, has done a good job in one vein. They've made a lot of rule changes that I think have made the game better. On the other hand,
but Bull, their heads were in the sand for years.
That's true.
Those changes are just now being made.
And this is the call for a salary cap in baseball is getting louder. And
I've been screaming for years.
If the owners are going to finally put their foot down and say we have to have a salary cap, you're going to miss a full season of baseball.
We may, because they will dig
100%.
in. But here's why that might. And I remember Bud Selig at the last strike in 30 years ago, 94, 95. Yeah. He said, sometimes to get to where you want to go, you have to go through hell.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what baseball did. The game was better on the other side of it.
Yeah.
And I'm with you on the baseball salary cap thing. Here's why it's coming. It's getting more out of control than it's ever been before, and there are more of have-nots than haves.
Yeah, I think the have-nots are the problem, not the haves, but it doesn't matter.
I disagree with you. I don't think that's the case at all.
Yeah.
I think the have-nots are doing – now, I know you can say Cleveland could spend more money.
Yeah.
But the problem is if there's a limitless amount of spending, you're always going to have 4 or 5 outliers like the Mets, the Dodgers, the Yankees that push the bar so high, the disparity between the haves and the have-nots becomes so great that you're incentivizing the have-nots not to spend money.
No, I think the have-nots could all spend way more than they are, and then the gap wouldn't be as big.
We have a super chat.
I know we're out of time.
One more point on that, but really
quickly.
quickly. I think the league is to blame for this. They instituted this stupid in-season tournament. Ratings are down 25%, so it had no impact on what they hoped it would. Why are the Bucks going to sit tonight? Because Giannis told Liam, whatever his name is, who's a nobody, that, you know what, we're going to win this tournament so you can buy a house.
That's right.
And he got a $500,000 paycheck, and now they're going to rest their players. So this is league-driven.
I got a super chat in 15 seconds.
Go ahead.
Go.
Scooby